On today's show, we're going to be discussing Ireland's record-breaking loss to England in Twickenham.
And we're going to discuss the psychological edge you can get when you play rugby in school and you've got pubes and sideburns.
Is Joe Smith Kaiser Soze?
And how do you correctly pronounce Joe Thockenasinga?
That's it.
See you then.
Joe presents Baz and Andrew's House of Rugby, together with Guinness.
Hello and you're very welcome to Baz and Andrew's House of Rugby here on Joe, together with Guinness. Oh, it's happening again.
What? Sorry.
We're crap again.
What happened?
Oh, you're in denial.
What do you mean?
I see. Okay.
I
don't know. What I am referring to, of course, is, and what we'll talk about in this show, is Ireland getting scalded.
Didn't see it. Missed
in
it.
the blistering heat that was Twickenham on Saturday. While third-degree burns even?
Way worse than that.
You didn't even see. Oh, you did see it. Okay.
Oh, sorry. I mean, yeah, I did.
You're in. England, on the other hand, coming out lashed in factor 50, factor 57 even. Bronzed, oiled up, looking class.
Looking sexy.
Literally like they've been on their summer holidays.
Yeah.
Even at the end when they were just swanning around the pitch with all their families and
Looking
stuff.
buff.
It was like they were in Port Stewart or Lahinch, just like, oh yeah, this is easy. Just eating ice cream.
Rugby, huh?
Yeah. Whereas we were scalded like as if we'd never seen the sun before. And
You know, I have this sneaking suspicion that Joe knows what he's doing.
he's like that irresponsible Irish mammy that knows, I don't need sun cream on my child.
Yeah.
They'll just...
Are you trying to tell me how to raise my child?
They'll just get loads of freckles. And they'll be grand.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, that's his plan. They'll
Cuter.
just keep getting freckles.
Yeah. I imagine that Joe has this master plan, and the only person that he shared it with is his wife. And he went home, and she's like, "Are you sure we're still on course?" Did you hear what they're saying about us out there?
I imagine she's like that the cop's wife in South Park who's got that little Irish accent. She's like, "Are you sure, Joe? Are you sure they know what they're doing?"
Because it looked really bad.
Yeah. Well, look, we've been here before. I think when this happened in February.
By the way, when we were here before, we drew on a old school reference.
Yes.
Someone has stolen that from us this morning.
The composure.
Yes.
Who?
The Will Ferrell scene. Keeper composure. Gavin Kominski.
Oh, Gavin.
Irish Times.
Dirty.
They quoted the whole scene.
Dirty.
Yeah.
So that's what we did in February when Ireland got hosed by England. We said we'd open a soup kitchen and allow people to come in and just talk about old school and ignore the fact that it happened. So we've done that. So I was thinking, this kind of smells like a leaving cert holiday, right? So, or A-levels, is that what you did up above?
A-levels, yeah.
Yeah. So it's just typical of a leaving cert holiday, like where Ireland, let's say, last year when they were Grand Slam champions, that's like fifth year, when they'd no bird, they were just relaxed, enjoying study, doing really well in school, and then they kind of got a girlfriend or they got into or a boyfriend, got into a serious relationship, and took themselves a little bit too seriously and forgot about the basics.
Yeah, they lost their buzz.
And they fucking made a bollocks of their leaving cert, which was the Six Nations, right? But we got over that because they still got enough points. They wanted to do medicine.
They got in. Did they get in clearing, is what they call it?
Astronomy or something. What's the highest
Astronomy,
one?
yeah.
What's the highest
They
one?
want to be astronauts.
They want to be astronauts. But
Jeez, they're not being astronauts.
they're not going to be astronauts. But we're happy enough
They'll
to
be a classroom assistant or something.
They just get to college.
Yeah.
So the World Cup is college. Like, they just get to college and they're grand. So like they're doing public administration or something like that.
Something bland.
Something handy.
That gets you nowhere.
Arts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. But now they're on the leaving cert holiday, which is kind of like, yeah, it would be grand. And as you said, the mother just sends them off and no sun cream, no money, just off to Iron Appa for a few weeks.
Phone parties.
Yeah. But they're kind of Irish lads, so they're a bit useless. Like, and you know, then they meet all these English lads who are fucking, they seem like they're way more developed. Do you ever remember meeting those lads on holidays? And you're like,
The size of him.
the size, he's the same age as me. And
He's talking to girls.
they're so confident and cocky, and you're kind of just there in your kind of flowery board shorts.
Yeah.
Trying to be cool. But
Tuolangi's like dead casual, leaned up against the bar, drinking a pina colada.
Yeah, and you're just way too pissed. But I still hold it that the hope that, like any Leaving Cert holiday, it all works out in the end. So
Yeah, well, yeah.
we've 2 nights left on our Leaving Cert holiday. And on the second last night, I reckon we're going to meet a Welsh bird and we're going to hook up and things will go well.
Why a Welsh bird?
Because we're playing Wales at the weekend.
That loves the slur and all.
No, that's happened, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last day, we're going to get down and dirty with the Welsh
Yeah.
lad or girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll all work out well.
I think it'll be fine.
Yeah. Just
It'll be
remain
fine.
confident. We're just a little bit...
I think Joe knows what he's doing.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I
Okay.
think he's fine. I think he's Kaiser Sose, and we're all falling for it. He's limping at the minute.
Yes.
He's just about to start walking straight. Wait, Ireland need more than that. To be fair. Also, he is Lord Walder Frey.
Who's that lad again?
Looks like it's going. Looks like it's going badly for him. He's sold out. He's the guy in Game of Thrones. He set up the Red Wedding. If you look underneath on match day, if you look underneath Joe's t-shirt, there's a bit of chainmail.
So he's going to pull a red wedding.
Yeah. So the 57. What was it? 57 what?
15?
15.
22?
15, yeah.
15.
All
15.
part of the plan.
Okay. I think we could do it at something like Red Wedding-esque.
Yeah.
Something dirty.
Yeah.
As opposed to like something glorious and heartfelt.
Yes,
I think we need
yes.
something fucking ruthless, like
Yeah.
stabbing in the belly.
Yeah. Eddie Jones.
Yeah.
His
stabbing
pregnant
in
belly.
Oh, God. I think we should get Flower on to talk a little bit more about Leaving Cert holidays, because you definitely didn't go on one. I know from looking into your eyes.
No, I went straight into the academy after school.
Did you? I had a few years before I got into the academy where I got to waste my life.
Yeah, you were a late starter, weren't you?
I was.
You only got pubes when you were 22.
I actually thought of that. I was like, the Irish players, like maybe some of the younger players are over an INAPA and none of them have pubes or anything. Or chest hair. But all the English players are like full beards and like that. They're the same age as me. What is going on? Not to name any names. On the House of Rugby Facebook page, it's all kicking off as well. There was a few people
jeez. They're in panic mode.
freaking out.
I think we should shut it down.
Some guy, Andrew Gorman, observed the game and said, ever since Big Joe said he was gone, they're gone to fuck.
There's nothing big about Joe.
He did, he kind of...
He's quite a small man.
He is, isn't he? So that's just completely inaccurate, Andrew.
Yeah. Get your facts straight, Andrew.
Yeah. But
Speaking of getting your facts straight, did you see the Twitter spat between Pat and Kavey?
I did. I did.
And then passive-aggressive Pat replied and re-spelled, corrected him on his spelling of naive. What do you call the 2 wee dots?
I'm calling them umlauts, but
Umlauts.
I think, KV, you should come back with a rebuttal on that, because it's definitely not umlauts, is it? Is naive...
I can't imagine naive being a German word.
Yeah, that's what I'm
The
thinking.
Germans wouldn't come up with a word like naive. There'd be some J's
Very
and
German.
some hard K's in there,
Yeah.
I'd say, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Enjoyed that.
It
Yeah.
was.
Enjoyed that wee back and forth.
Yeah, so Pat was having a pop off Stockdale for being the only reason Ireland were losing, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I think he came back and called you out.
he did, that's what I was saying. He came back at me. It was 5 hours after the game and he'd come back with his analysis. But I was telling him, listen, this was in the heat of the moment. I think after the third try in a row, and Stockdale had just belted out of the line and missed the man on the ball. And so I was
The heat of the
reacting to that
moment,
at the time.
though, Pat. The heat of the moment.
Heat of the moment.
Standing-
I'd still stand
you're-
over 2/3 of what I said.
You're in your stand just tweeting away. The heat of the moment. It's Jacob Stockdale who's experiencing the heat of the moment.
It's like,
Getting burned by the heat of the
severe
moment.
pressure. Oh, we'll have to get Flau to I think go through a lot of this more in-depth analysis.
Yeah.
Let's bring him out.
Fasten your seatbelt, Pat.
Here he comes. Okay, welcome to the show, Jerry Flannery, and we've already got ahead of ourselves there off air. We were talking about facial hair when you were in school and not having pubes, and we got something wrong on the show when you kicked that French player back in the day. It was not Madar. It was
Alexis Palisson.
Palisson.
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't even remember him.
Oh, yeah. I remember him, yeah.
Had he sideburns as
No,
well?
he did not have. At the time, he did not have sideburns.
That's why you kicked him.
Yeah, I think he grew them afterwards.
Okay.
But at the time, there was definitely no sideburns.
Yeah, Maynard's back strongly with the sideburns. I don't think
Did he go away from
I
them?
don't know if maybe they just weren't as prominent on his face, but they're enormous. They're bigger and thicker than ever.
Yeah, I like
You
them,
noticed
man.
that?
They look really cool.
Yeah.
They are very cool, yeah.
He stuck with it because sideburns were cool when we were in school. But then, like now, like who grows sideburns now? Moustaches are the new sideburns.
That's true.
Isn't
That's
it?
true. Yeah.
Nick White, Bernard Foley.
Curtly Beale.
Yeah.
Curtly Beale's the little pencil one. Yeah. Like he's in LA Confidential. Like, oh, you can never trust. He's definitely going to have an affair
Tommy
with your
Guns.
missus.
Can you relate to the Leaving Cert holiday? Did you go on Leaving Cert holiday?
No, I didn't.
Did you not?
I didn't have one of those, but I related to the playing against guys who have facial hair when you're young and you don't have facial hair, and they probably have like loads of pubes and you only have some pubes. And you feel inferior. You don't know if they have pubes when they're playing, obviously. They don't go like, you should see the amount of pubes I have. But when I was playing Junior Cup and we play against some of the Cork teams, and you get guys who'd have like, you could see they had stubble, and I used to be like, oh shit, this guy's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Which now is not really determined of whether someone's good at rugby or not. But back then it was.
Yeah.
We used to shower with our boxers on in school. Did you do that? Did you?
No, I never
Full
did
grown
that.
up.
Stringer used to do that with Munster. Remember that?
Tom Court used to do it with Ulster.
What is that? Is it a...
I don't know.
Let's jump to conclusions.
Go on.
We got nothing to back it up. But in school we did it because obviously then it's all that, you know.
I kind of imagine Stringer as like as a Ken doll, so maybe if he took
He
it
just
off
has like a plastic,
no dick.
a smooth plastic area here, which he'd probably get ripped to pieces for if he didn't have his boxer shorts on. so.
Exactly. So.
No, it was little undies he used to wear, wasn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, it's odd.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
But I do remember not showering in Munchins, like coming home and just showering in my gear
Yeah.
and at home for some reason. It's because the showers are always fucking freezing. That's probably why.
Yeah.
In school.
Yeah. Once
Yeah.
I got pubes, man, I was always showering.
I was showing off those pubes, yeah.
Yeah.
I was making sure there were no doubt.
Yeah. You can see these, yeah.
So any listeners or viewers, if you know that the Stringer has a dick, write in.
Or pubes, at least.
It's going to look weird if he doesn't have a dick and he has pubes. I don't think it's massively important.
Is this part B or part A?
This is the rugby bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's fine. I think it's a good week for going on tangents.
Did you enjoy Pat's spat with
Cavey?
Cavey?
I saw he just like went with the Jacob Stockdale is at fault for all of this.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that's probably a little bit harsh.
Yeah.
Have you got the tweets there? Have you?
I do.
Yeah, I have an issue with wingers getting the blame for everything in general. I think Jacob has got a hard time, massively. Myself and Earlsey talked about this quite a bit, but the wingers get all the
drop.
Do you know Earlsey?
Yeah. Well.
I'm friends with Earlsey. Obviously, the winger's often
Pubes?
the one. He's got pubes, yeah.
Doing well for himself.
The winger's often the one that scores the try and gets all the credit.
Yeah.
Which is great. It's great to be a winger at times, but then when things go badly, you're the fall guy. I think Jacob was the fall guy at the weekend.
Yeah, I
Totally
don't think they
unfair.
were actually any of them were his fault. I think they came on the errors happened on the inside. So let's see. Jacob Stockdale having a defensive shocker. has charged out early 3 times. Hang on.
Bias, 'cause
I'm
you're
being
reading me out like
exposed
an
3
idiot.
times.
Shocker.
Naive of you. Sorry, I'll do KV's voice. Naive of you to lump it on Jacob Stockdale. No synergy defending scrum launch. MT try BA flies in on BV, which stuffs them. He's using abbreviations. JC try
Lazy.
CM goes blind. BY gets to RB, causes late jam by. I'm not going to read this. Oh, I'll go to Pat's again then. How naive of you to think that tweet was about those 3 tries. Still feel he should have drifted for first try. Oh no, there's no question mark here. Still feel he should have drifted for first try and hesitated a beat for the third. But Bundy did not cover himself in glory either. Few did. KB's is way too much detail in KB's.
So I won, basically.
The tweet from the first half, said Pat. My big worry is a sold-out Millennium, Principality Stadium for Gatland send-off and a full-strength Wales. Another big loss could drain us before we even get on a plane. It's kind of like it's...
I think they made it up.
Yeah, it's
They kinda
petered
made it up,
out now.
didn't
It's
it?
kind of like, I
Yeah.
know you were tweeting in the heat of it.
Yeah.
How naive of you.
Okay, deep look at the scrum defence with that in mind. For me, there was a couple of things that went wrong. Obviously, lineouts weren't great. We'll get to that.
Weren't great.
And scrum defence probably didn't...
How naive of you to say the line-out wasn't great.
So, talk me through, first of all, Trimby, scrum defence.
Scrum defence, obviously, Murray sweeps back down the short side because
This is
England
for the first...
for the first try for
England's first.
Stock and a Singas
Yeah.
try. The scrum wheels, so England get their loose head up, and then
Slightly.
slightly, ever so slightly,
Yeah.
but still managed to score the more difficult side, I suppose. But so Murray sweeps back because he thinks Vunipola is a threat. He's just going to pick it and go. And and I actually think Murray's probably correct to do that, even though it kind of screws him. Or not correct to do it, but you can understand why he did it because there's such a threat. And Larmour was starting to cheat a little bit. He was starting to chase Carney. And I wonder if, so Pete's obviously scrummaging long and he's got his head buried in it.
Pete's
Buried.
welded in there.
And
yeah.
you know, like more than me, like if he doesn't, they're going to get hammered in that scrum unless they have their full back row scrummaging the whole time.
Yeah.
So it's fair enough for Pete to do that. Then Murray, I can understand why he sweeps back because he's not sure if Jordan Larmour's going to be there if Vunipola picks it. I think Larmour could either reassure him or there could be a bit more communication between Larmour and Murray. Because if Larmour sits up there and waits longer, then Murray can get around the short side, or sorry, on the open side to defend. You're smiling.
I just want to say, how naive! That's all I can think of, man. So I'm going to start using that all day whenever.
So Vunipola picks and gets Ben Youngs scooting at Ross Byrne. And then we've got Farrell coming short. Ross Byrne and Bundy Key for me have done nothing wrong. They can't go anywhere because Ross can't get off Ben Youngs because he's got so wide. Their back row's gone. He has to stick. Bundy Key has to stick. Thing I thought maybe Ringrose, and you'll tell me this from a 13's perspective, Ringrose might have gone and shot onto Ford and closed it down then.
No, I don't. That's like...
Yeah,
I
know.
Crazy
Such
read
a-
to have to make.
Yeah, and such a... You just got to back yourself, I think, from the start. I don't think that's a read you can make at the last second. That's a decision you've got to go, I'm going to take a flyer here before the ball even goes into the scrum.
No,
Almost.
No, he can read that. I
think so?
think he.
That's not a read.
I'm saying
that's gambling. That's
Yeah.
just shooting.
Yeah, I don't think you can make that
But it's
read.
it's an educated gamble. If he doesn't do as he didn't. I'm not saying he should have. It's a really tricky read, and by all the mechanism that happened on the inside, it made him put him in a really difficult position. I'm saying that might have been one way to solve it.
Well,
if he had gone, because by the time Jacob's sitting further back, so by the time he doesn't go, and Jacob has to go on the next one onto.
Is he Jacob or scapegoat?
He's
Jacob. Yeah. Okay. So
Jacob goes, but by the time he goes, he's got even further to go than Ringrose, so it's an even trickier read for him.
Yeah.
Jacob, for me, is pretty blameless in the whole thing.
Yeah, I think you go back for me to Larmour who is standing about 3 yards deeper than he should be. He's on the 22 if you look at it. If his job is to first and foremost cover the blind and then get around, I think he's like, between himself and Murray, they have to make a decision: who covers the blind, who puts pressure on 9 or getting to 10.
Yeah.
So there's no communication between the two of them there.
Yeah.
So
I'm not saying it's Larmour's fault or Murray's fault, but it's
Skakeb's.
it's one of their fault, or maybe just a miscommunication.
But it's just it's funny that to get that system wrong, like that's such a
Man, it's Vunipola is the because Vunipola is such an individual threat. Like
one-on-one isn't enough.
Yeah, one-on-one, like and that happened.
But,
in a few.
going down blind, like what really is what threat is Vunipola gonna be going down blind when like the others like going out to the back line? A left-hand scrum for an attacking team is the best position in the field to score from. So as a defence, you're like, our biggest problem here is trying to stop them going wide as opposed to...
If picks that, Pete's gone and CJ are gone.
Pete's head is welded into the side of the
and
scrum.
if Murray stays in the open side, he just has to steamroll Larmour and he's going to score.
Yeah.
It's more straightforward.
I think if Pete was in a position where he could keep adding pressure on Tyg Furlong and still get off.
Yeah.
But I think he was actually so welded into the scrum, and then the fact that Larmour started dropping early, and he wasn't as flush, and the fact that Vunipola is so physically dominant that Murr probably went up and said, "I'm going to get the first set of hands and put pressure on that on the open side." And once Vunipola looked like he was going to come back blind, he dropped back. That allowed Youngs to play the 8-9. Youngs was able to get the Carty with no pressure on him, and then they played a double spot play, and they, like you're saying, they stuck everyone, and they got the ball then from Daly to Singha, and he just got to Skakeb. Skakeb. So I think that the problem is they just needed to be able to cover the blind and allow Murr to get to the front, the first set of hands, but he ended up coming back because.
So how do you cover the blind with?
Pete's got to be in a position where he can scrum on a tight head and get off, and Larmour can't cheat so early.
You straighten up the scrum because if the scrum goes that way, then although should they have got more from Josh from Van der Fleer then?
Possibly,
if
possibly. But the fact that they lost, like if you think of it on an 8-9, if it's on an 8-9, the 7 is always going to be way too inside on the 9. If Murr dropped, even if Josh tried to get off and get to Youngs, which he would have tried to do, Youngs would have been on an outline already because of the pass, giving him the width. So it just needed that the lads need to be able to look after the blind side between the 6 and the right winger, and then you just have to have Murr putting pressure on the first.
So even though Vunipola did nothing extraordinary there, he picked it and passed to Youngs, but just the fact that he's there meant there was more of a threat, and that confused our defence.
It happened as well on the one. On the scrum on 35 minutes, the scrum on the 8-9, 13 to Tuolagi, I think when I looked at it, I was like, why is Bundyaki so tight here? Because it just looked like a real simple, they just played the 8-9 and then hit Tuolagi and got in. I said, how they got in so easily? But it's the fact that if Vunipola carries in any way, Bundyaki is like, I've got to try and hit in here.
Yeah.
And he actually hits way too narrow. And then once they get the pass away, then...
So is that him because he's protecting Ross Byrne as opposed to like if Sexton was playing there? This is the way I was looking at it. Like the different combinations we have there is what's at fault really, because if that's Murray, Sexton, Aki, and even Van der Fleer, if he, after playing 4 or 5 games together, there's going to be far more of a trust there, because like the thing is, Bundyaki can't hit in there, like never, even if it's.
He's on with the one on the line.
Yeah. He can't do it, and same thing. He's taken himself out of the game. He did it for Coppin Singha's Fapa.
Thingy, just call him Thingy.
Thingy. He's trying to in the second half, we're off the third try to score off a scrum where he's taken himself out of the game. It just looks like a trust thing that he's. That they're not settled in that kind of combinations.
He's just that. Vunipola is that good, man. He's the best number 8 in the world at the moment, and it's teams end up having to tighten up around him, which then opens up space.
And then Ford is so good at executing that. Farrell is so good at executing that you can't take your eyes off Tuolagi, and you've got great finishers, even Elliot Daly's hands for that first try.
Yeah.
But for me, you take those 3 scrum tries out of it.
We've done the first.
Yeah. Can we do the other one?
Yeah.
Can we look at the other one of
third one?
England's right-hand side towards the end where
Yeah.
Falkner scores?
Yeah.
Because that look, I
Hang on,
thought.
so Skakup
Yeah, Skakup.
Skakup has been cleared on the first one,
Not guilty.
not guilty, and the second one cleared also.
Yeah.
Because I think they were just a little bit too tight. Aki was a little bit too tight. This is on 35 minutes.
Yeah, that's the Tuilagi one.
Tuilagi, yeah.
I think.
What
he's,
about Elliot Daly's try where he shot a little bit coming into Pat's defence here? Was that one that you were referring to?
Yeah, the first three.
First 3 tries.
Yeah.
You still think they were all his fault?
No, I wasn't saying it was all his fault.
I was giving you an Alan
like, I'm
Branch.
not, like,
The second
Bundy
try
ran
was
into Nigel Owens for one of them, like.
the second try was off a line out. It was off the top to Youngs, who played Farrell, who played Vunipola, just smashing it up. And then I just have like England are just getting momentum on nearly all their carries, or else they're getting an offload in the tackle to keep the continuity. And then Tuilagi just makes a big carry, and then it's just hands from Daly to Curry. It's like once you start losing that kind of momentum against a team like England, like that, like Ireland needed to actually disrupt the base all the time. It's like you were saying, either disrupt the base of the scrum so that Vunipola is probably on the back foot, which then gives you some front foot.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that, and they didn't do it off the line out either. So it was just like you just had someone like very little deception, just Vunipola just carrying, and he's coming, but you can't stop it. And then they're over the gain line, you're scrambling on the back foot, and then they just back it up with a couple of other massive carries as they get their hands free.
Can we talk about the 65th minute try that's Falkner Singer scored, where there was so much width between Hines hit George Ford, and then they went a spot off Farrell, so he shipped it on to Farrell. Farrell spotted out the back of Tuilagi to Falkner. And that was like 30 metres out from Ireland's line, actually similar to the first try, but it looked like Bundy thought that they were going hard, and then Conway isn't on the same page.
Conway's hips are open. He looks like he's trying to hunt.
Yes, I thought when I saw it the first time, I thought it looks like Ringrose and Bundy are on the same page. They're both going hard, and then I thought maybe Conway hasn't got the call or has misunderstood. But then the reason why I don't think that was the case is because it's Luke McGrath at 9 at the time. If they were all going hard, he would be hassling Hines. He would be hassling 9, and he wasn't. So then it looks like Conway and Luke McGrath are on the same page, and the two centres are in different. So I don't know who's right or who's wrong, but I just think it would be unlike Conway. He's pretty studious. It'd be unlike him to get that wrong. I would have thought.
I think we're going to end up second. We're going to end up just.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
Because we don't know what the system called, but Bundy definitely goes all the way to get man and ball and doesn't get man and ball. Which then, if you're the 13, if you're Ringrose outside him, Ringrose has to pretty much go with him.
Yes.
So then, if the option was called that they were calling to hunt, because if you look at it, Hines does well, because Hines actually gets off, takes a step, and then he plays rips that pass, which then allows them, they've stretched him straight away. So Carty can't get across to first set of hands, and then it ends up then that I think Bundy just goes. It looks to me like he went out of system a little bit and went all the way to get man and ball. Ringrose had to follow him. And then you had kind of Conway was in between two systems.
By the time Falkner got the ball, he was starting to hover because he was expecting Ringrose to kind of track inside him. But that's why I think it looked like Conway again. He could have solved that, but it's a massive ask for him.
And it's a huge gamble to be going that hard when someone stretches you initially with the pass that Hines throws. When they stretch you that much and you're trying to take that kind of massive line speed there when they were that tight.
Yeah, but when there's that long a pass, maybe, again, this is hindsight thought, and they make the decision. That would have been a pre-call, I think, on that one. But whenever the pass is that long, or maybe if they looked up and they saw George Ford was sitting that far off 9, then that would have been the right decision maybe to go hard. Because the ball's in the air, you get a couple more metres closer to them.
Yeah, shit, I don't know. There's still an awful lot of width to play
We're
with.
totally speculating, but we're just kind of...
We're just trying to get Skakup freed.
Yeah, Skakup. See the blame for that one? He was off pitch at that stage.
He was there and he missed it. He missed a dummy.
He was in the backfield.
He was a dummy.
He was to blame. Sorry, I forgot about that.
Suck on that.
Yeah. Sorry, you're right.
All right, Mary Poppins and scrums. The line-out was the other one. So talk us through any insight into...
It's like the line-out just didn't function, and to play a team as good as England, your line-out needs to function both sides of the ball, and I don't think you can. It was universally bad. You know what I mean? Like the layman will just say the hooker's at fault, but like. There was a Rory spoke about it after the game, and that they were laboured in that on Ireland's attacking ball, which is so important for them to get some sort of delivery, so they can get some sort of momentum into their carries and into their maps. Ireland didn't get any. I think they lost 5 or 6 lineouts out, and they won 10, which is a really poor return. And of the 10 that they got, the delivery was really poor and it was really scrappy. So they had no real momentum off those launches. I think there was a lot of things as like. I thought they were slow coming into tempo, coming into the line-out was poor, and you have like England set up, England compressed the 10 metres, so they had 2 pods of 3. They had Cruz in the middle, they had Itoje who was just staying alive because he was like, well, if you want to throw the ball to the 15, the ball has to travel in the air longer, so I'll get to it. Okay, so the throw has to have real pace on it.
What do we do to combat that, going into the World Cup now, if we get South Africa or something?
Ireland just need to be able to start. The basics is, and I feel like a little bit of a dickhead here because people would be like criticising last year when Munster's lineup wouldn't go well, but this is the reality is for any team, there's got to be tempo coming into your lineup, so you want to get to the line quickly, not walk in and then real slow so the opposition can see what the numbers are and then take their time to work out how they're going to contest with you. You want to get in there early, execute, get the ball away as fast as you can, or else set your maul and go as fast as you can. So Ireland were poor there, and on a couple of the exits they actually ended up having to take a couple of goes at them rather than just exiting really, really clinical, get the ball away. I thought some of their movements were laboured in the line-out. Their movements weren't really sitting down in either of the English pods, which then meant that England were live to get up in the air and contest. And then maybe some of the calling wasn't great, and then some of the throws weren't as accurate or had as much pace on them as they needed to against a team as good as that. So they've every bit of it to get right.
Yeah.
But I think Ireland as well need to have the ability that when England were showing them, say the 5 metre and saying you can have the ball there, Ireland have to have a few options where they can just take what's been given to them and then work some plays off it, because they went quite a few times. They went to middle back ball, which is right into where Itoje is, and when they're thrown to the middle back, it's obviously great ball to attack off because you're shortening up, you're getting a bit more width into your launch, but Itoje was really sharp to it. So Ireland just need to come up with. Just go through all the basics of their line-out and be better at execution, and then maybe have a couple of other options.
Like from talking to a few of my mates in the pub, and
you're going out to the pub with twins at home, newborn twins.
Yeah, I'll bring them with me, like
just gallivanting around the pub.
Yeah, they love it. They love the rugby. They love just hanging with the lads, chatting. I'm trying to get her into rugby now, so she's actually coming out today, which is great news.
Out of hospital?
Yeah, baby Annabelle.
Oh, brilliant.
Just to deflect you from slagging me there. She's been in ICU, man. Slagging me and my kids.
But it wasn't my fault.
She's good. But a lot of the criticisms were on the intensity. So is that just that it's the first game of the season for a lot of these players? Give them a break.
Isn't it?
What is it, Portugal?
I'd say so.
Getting scalded.
They're all sunburned. These fellas.
Too many phone parties.
Yeah, I'd say there could be an element of like pre-season's very, very tough, and those first couple of games of friendlies towards the end of pre-season, you're still in pre-season mode, and you still be doing tough sessions all the way up to Thursday, maybe. And I bet you that takes its toll. And I thought it looked like they were just off the pace a little bit. They just looked fatigued. I thought they looked.
So when you're saying like coming into the line-out, being alert, being having that energy, having that intensity, like on Air Sport last night, they did the French-Irish match from 2015 World Cup where we beat them, and the fucking difference in intensity at that game was phenomenal. Like they're just going around like lunatics, like Sean O'Brien, O'Connell, Peter O'Mahony, even Murray and Sexton, and you're looking at that going, okay, this is where we'll get to. You know what I mean? Like, whereas now, I was talking to Niall Ronan last night, who played in the Scottish match before that World Cup. I think it was the first game, and Scotland hammered Ireland. I think that. Oh no, it was 2011. Sorry, were you playing in that? The Scottish match in 2011 when it was the first one of the warm-up, and he said that Scotland had hammered them. They were well off the pace, and it was just like, yeah, it's hard when it's your first game to bring that kind of intensity, which England obviously have. So, take those scrums out of the equation, take the line out and
Take the scrums, take the lineouts, take the missed tackles. If you take all
Replace
those out of
Jacob.
the equation, we are basically in the mix here.
But you know what I mean, like there's no need for us all to fucking start freaking out over this. Like it's
Isn't there?
No, I genuinely think you gotta get. I'm a little bit worried about the language that Bestie's using and Schmidt is using, where they're like they seem a little bit defeated and I don't know, like apologetic, as opposed to being like, I don't know, a bit more pissed off or ratty or.
I mean, you feel like they're just both two of them are just probably just fucking just been humbled there, and they were like, just disappointed. But Rory made the point, like in that, and this is why it's I don't know whether it's a good or a bad thing, but there's not one specific area where Ireland just need to fix that and they'll be okay. They were off on everything, and I think your point, Trimby, might be accurate in that they just looked flat compared to England in everything that they did, and England looked like they were almost peaking at this stage, and I no doubt Rory and Joe Schmidt are going to go away and be furious with themselves and get things right coming into next week. And Rory said it. He said, listen, we've had games where things haven't worked for us, like if our set pieces malfunction, and we've turned it around the following week. And they will turn it around because they're all quality players. But they were just so far off the pace for that English game. It was fucking hard watch.
Do you think we've enough characters in the team that that can be fucking dogged, ruthless
I thought
pricks on the pitch? You know what I mean?
Yes, I think there's a big overlap from the guys who were doing it in that example you were saying. I think what will be a challenge is being able to come back in and kind of dust themselves down and communicate clearly and be positive about it. Especially because the tone after the game, as you say in the press conference, it was an appropriate tone, I thought.
Yeah.
As you say, they were humbled, and if they had been making excuses or saying, well, the margins are very fine, that kind of narrative, it wouldn't have been accepted at all.
I don't know how you be aggressive in a post
I think
It was Nigel's fault.
I think Johnny Sexton, like a lot of people were criticising him last year for his attitude and his, do you know the way he is.
He's dogged, he's a competitor.
Yeah, and it's days like this where you're like, that's what we fucking need.
You need Johnny Sexton.
We need Johnny
You need him to be ratty.
Do we have enough of them going into a World Cup?
Having said that, so you want a little bit of balance. So they go in on Monday morning, and you want, so that if you've got everybody being like that example of Johnny, you're saying fired up, dogged, like pointing fingers, being hard on each other during the video, real tough.
But even
but that I don't think that'll develop a little bit of panic, but it also will develop a sort of like a resilience within the team as well.
I didn't mean.
No, you did.
I didn't mean.
backtrack.
What I meant was like there was an example where George Cruz hit Peter O'Mahony just slightly after the whistle and busted him, and everyone just stood there and looked at him. Like there was no. Like that should be a scuffle. That should be a little bit of a scrap.
Yeah.
And there's okay. You get so professional in your preparation and so systematic that stuff maybe leaks out and then all of a sudden it's gone. Whereas that needs to be probably at the forefront of their thinking now, is like set the tone. Like I know it's old school, but rugby isn't a complicated game, and that's the way it's always been.
Baz, you're right. Yeah, in terms of physicality, to play England, we have to be able to match them physically, and whether that's just a little not off field, but little things around the game, maybe just attitude. In terms of getting bullied.
It's like those lads on a school holiday, on the Leaving Cert holiday. You meet those English lads and they're all fucking arrogant with their pubes and their beards, and they're belittling you because you're Irish and they're rubbing your head, and then the other Irish birds that you'd normally be kind of scoring at home, they're going off with the English lads. But like the English lads, they're a little bit fearful of you if you start acting a bit mental. Like, do you know what I mean? Did you ever?
That's what we had in the past. That's Ireland 20 years ago.
I still think we need to. There's no one on that. It didn't look like any of the English players at the weekend were afraid of any of our players, or were they in the Aviva back in February.
But don't
I
forget,
think
we are tricking them. Remember?
that's what I'm hoping that they'll come out and start just decapitating players.
Yeah.
Like
I know
all
what
get
you
red
mean.
cards, but like
There was one moment where Tig got hit hard.
yeah,
It might have been a Toji.
Underhill did him.
Underhill.
Yeah.
And then
double whammy,
Vunipola like picked him up.
And him and Tuilagi, yeah.
Yeah, and there was a wee moment I kind of thought that's.
If you think of it like, I just speak on the Munster lads that I could tell you in the pack, like Peter Manny and John Klein, CJ, they're all physical players and they're confrontational. So I think it was just a really bad day.
I think it's first.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be overly critical, going like you need to toughen up or anything like that, because I think it's the first game of the season. I'm like, give him a break, but I would love to see more of that. I think it would stand to us a lot more if we kind of brought a little bit more of that into the game, because it's you know yourself when you're playing, and we kind of took it for granted in Munster back in the day, and we'd someone like yourself, Quinny, O'Connell, even Dunners, like when
Would you
something
mention him
kicked
if he
off.
wasn't here?
Not so much myself.
When something kicked off, like it was just everyone in, you know, whether it's just pulling jerseys or whatever.
Chicken or
like,
egg, the chicken or the egg, a little bit. Like if you look at it, the most important thing is that we're actually stopping the opposition, and that when we're carrying the ball, we're getting over the gain line, and that's the main thing. And whether it was a little bit of an attitude thing, because I don't believe that England are that much better than that group of Irish players.
Yeah.
It was just the fact that they were in the right place mentally and physically. They looked fresher, like you said.
Yeah.
Maybe Ireland were a little bit tired, and Ireland, for a lot of those players, that was their first run out, and we were off the pace in terms of what's required. And England are that good as well. England are that good. Like they've got some players that would challenge to get into a World 15 at the moment, which is a good indictment of how strong they are going into the World Cup. So it was just a bad day.
I was watching Michael Collins last night, because it was his anniversary yesterday, and Dev is trying to convince him to go to England to talk to Churchill, and he's like, I'm not fucking going, sure, I'm only in a simple old salad from Cork. And the other guy, whoever's his Michael Collins psychic, I can't remember what his name is. Harry Boland. He's like, you put the fear of God in them when you go over there. You put the fear, and I was like, that's where O'Connell got his fear of God thing.
Yeah.
I bet you it is. So we need a bit more fear of God. We need to have that back. So we send Liam Neeson into the...
Whoever's got the most pubes in Ireland.
Pick Liam Neeson.
Tomas
Apparently
O'Leary.
Liam Neeson.
Tomas O'Leary.
He does.
Tomas O'Leary, man.
He used to call
Tomas wouldn't put the fear of God into them.
We used
Not
to
anymore.
Quinny used to call him Squirrel, because he would hide his nuts with his pubes.
Send him over.
Yeah.
We could have him like a little naked mascot walking out in front for the World Cup.
Okay, that's great.
Pubes have been a major part of this show.
I love it.
Can you make sure that is the
Pubes,
the
yeah,
title?
written down for a few edits.
Mostly pubes.
So Joe, after the game, Schmidt said, "We'll have a look at it, and we'll kind of decide then who's under pressure, like selection wise."
I think yeah, that's a lot of what have come from that game.
I felt bad for Ross Byrne, man. That was a big shot for him. I think the fact that I don't think Jack Carthy really had a huge impact in the Italian game. It was the game was petering out when he came in, but I felt like that was an opportunity for Ross Byrne to try and maybe move himself. If in the pecking order he was probably fourth choice, to try and get into the third slot, because I think they'll bring 3 10s off the back of Joey's injury history and how the fact that we're starting with Scotland. It's just such a hard game for a guy like that to play.
Wasn't he on a hiding to nothing though? If defensively they were going to struggle and we weren't going to win set piece and we weren't going to win collisions, do you think, like, no matter what Ross Byrne does, he's
well, that's what I mean. Like he
done.
was. Well, no.
Do you know what I mean? Like he can't play well. It's impossible for a 10 to play well if everybody else around you is performing the way they were.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm not sure. I think he probably could adapt a little bit better defensively. I think he could have made a few better shots. But you're right, in terms of attack, when the delivery he was getting, very, very difficult, and the possession that we did get, like, we were just going backwards all the time. So it is very difficult for him. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Carty did well when he came on.
Big fan of the
To be
show.
fair.
Can I ask you then about the other one? Is about like just how did CJ Stander only have 3 carries? Like a lot of people are asking that as well. Like what was he just? How is that? It's such an anomaly that he doesn't have a carry for an entire first half. Were Ireland trying to do something different with him, or is it just that Ireland were just on the back foot that much that they couldn't use him?
Back foot, I think. Our delivery off set piece and whatever. You know, we were never really able to build phases because of if you're going backwards on the first 2, you're just looking to say, okay, well, how can we actually move the ball and get the ball into their half now? Because it's more likely that we're going to turn the ball over and have an error. And see, like that's why the line-out is so important for Ireland. Like if you were playing against Ireland now, you just say, listen, just don't give them line-outs or else contest in really, really hard like England did there.
I don't think we had the possession. Like that would be my answer to that.
Yeah.
I think, and when we did, what we did well in that half, because we did like after 30 minutes, it was I think 28 minutes they scored. Up until that we were ahead. We were still 10-8 up, and I think we did well in broken play. Had a good few nice like Larmer had a few kicks down the right hand side that went well. Kearney did well a couple of times, and it was just so broken that I think it was very hard for any of those players to get to that. I think it wasn't just easy.
Yeah,
Like it was,
I think even though it was close in the first half, we had this when we played Sarries last year with Munster in Europe, and it's like the game was tight. We were still in the mix going in at half time, but I felt we were expending so much more energy than Saracens were just to stay matching with them because they wouldn't have to have much deception in their play. They just truck the ball up with Tuolagi or truck the ball up with Vunipola or they could use anyone there, Focasigna. Not really sure if I said that right. But like they're just huge men and they're always getting over the gain line, and you know what I mean? It's a compounding effect of just how it affects your conditioning when you're just defending, and it's costing you so much to stop the opposition. Whereas for England, they're like just constantly over the gain line and they're always looking up. They can see what's happening in front of them and they can play.
The game gets easier and easier for them as the game goes on. You hit these obviously guys like Tuolagi, Thokinasiga. These guys are getting gain lines easily at the start of the game, and as the Irish backs or back row start to tire more and more, they don't get any less physical.
Yeah.
If anything, they grow because they've got this psychological impact of we are dominating these collisions here. We're gonna dominate the next one.
They're fit, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're getting bigger and we were getting smaller, and the game was only going one direction after they took the lead towards the end of the first half.
When I was chatting to Rob Bickerman when I was over in England, when I did the English House of Rugby, and he kept stressing the point how fit England were, and it's something that I think it's not something that would have resonated with me that much, going back and looking at Ireland, because Irish teams are always fit. You know what I mean? That because there's 4 teams there. You've got the 4 provinces, and then the national team. That they're generally always fit. But if you think of the spread through the Premiership over in England, and you think of how attritional and how much slower the league is over there, and there's such an emphasis on being bigger, that like when we used to look at the English teams when I was coaching with Munster, I'd be like, yeah, I don't think these guys are very fit. Now Sarries are fit, and Exeter are pretty fit. But after that, I wouldn't. I don't think it's conducive to Test match rugby, the pace of the game over there. So when they're able to get the bulk of those players, bring them together and make them super fit, which Eddie Jones is renowned for, and they have that time together before a World Cup, it's going to make a massive difference. And Vunipola is just on a different level now.
they're pretty.
They're peaking too early though. Remember?
Yeah, this is part of the plan.
What about Scotland versus France? So, are Scotland class again?
back?
Or France just shit?
I thought Finn Russell was.
Yeah.
They
When
kick-
Scotland, without him, they're such a lesser.
He
team,
should have boots on his hands as well, because his kicking was so good, man. He was just there like honestly.
And gloves on his feet.
Scotland kicked the ball 38 times. I'm not sure exactly how many of them were Finn Russell, but he was able to move across the field and he was just shaped like he was going to pass, and just last second his transfer to get a kick away.
He disguises it so well, doesn't he?
It's phenomenal.
Class, yeah.
I thought Hamish Watson had a massive game as well. For such a small guy, he's so effective.
He's flying the flag for little men, isn't he?
Yeah, I love him. He's a great player. But I thought it was a really good game.
He's a Budge Pountney kind of esque.
Yeah, old school.
But
Soft
yeah,
time.
it was Scotland looked a lot better. They looked a lot better. A lot more tempo. I thought Blade Thompson, the 8, had a big game. Because I thought Josh Strauss didn't deliver anything like he normally does for them. So I thought Thompson had a massive game, Watson, and I thought Finn Russell was phenomenal.
Okay. I want to talk about James Haskell fighting in MMA.
Oh yeah.
How mental is that?
Yeah. When's his first fight, or do we know anything about it, Pat?
No, I think there's going to be a press conference, but nothing's been announced yet. But
Yeah.
people are throwing out names for him to fight already.
PR wise, like I think he's a dream, is he not?
Yeah.
Just turn up at a press conference, he'll be entertaining.
Has he done anything like this before? Like, is he
Honestly,
boxer,
I
fighter?
think he's mentioned that he loves training, and he trained MMA a bit, maybe grappling or something like that. But I didn't think he was going to go into this. But another opportunity for him to get his top off, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which I'm sure he's keen for.
the fear, like if you were new to that and you're going into your first fight, like I think even you chat to people who've done like that white collar boxing, and the fear just kicks in. Like I could get my head kicked in here, but even more so times 10 for MMA if he goes in, especially if he goes in with someone who's established or does.
You know what would be a great fight? It would be Neil Best and James Haskell. I would have my money on Neil Best for that one.
I think I would too. Yeah.
Would you? Yeah.
Oh, he's raw.
Is he
hard.
good? Was he a good fighter as well? Like, do you
Yeah.
reckon? Yeah.
He wouldn't be in. I don't know what kind of nick he's in now.
He's still in decent shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but he's an animal, man.
Did you listen to him on Fla on the English House Rugby last week?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
He spoke about a Royal Rumble that we
Oh,
had
yeah,
in
yeah.
Munster in
Yeah. You remember that? It was Last Man Standing, it was called.
Two
Spain.
turbo,
It was like
was
a
it?
Royal Rumble. It's a centre circle of a soccer pitch. Basically, for anyone to listen back to Fla on the English House Rugby last week.
But don't like or comment.
Dislike. And the strength and conditioning coaches in our pre-season set up a Royal Rumble, kind of last man standing in the centre circle of a soccer pitch, and we all just had to see who could throw each other out of the ring. But we were in groups. We were groups of four.
We had teams. It was like
Yeah,
there was an
forgot about
orange
that.
team, a grey team, a red, and maybe a blue team.
Yeah.
And I didn't actually get into the detail, but do you remember towards the end, as you get turfed out, you started to see that people started working in packs. So then I remember like Dennis. Do you remember Dennis Hurley was in the orange team, and there was like 3 or 4 grey lads. They'd be trying to get someone big out, and Dennis Hurley would be kind of in the corner, and then they'd turn around, they'd see him, and it'd be like prison. You know when you see someone getting assaulted in prison, they'd be over like they'd be grabbing him, this trying to stay in.
It ended up being Mushy and Sammy Tuipulotu were the two left. And it was like Earthquake versus
Godzilla.
Godzilla, or Jimmy Fly Snooker or something like that versus Earthquake or The Big Show or something like that.
I thought you meant
Everyone was
I thought you meant a physical earthquake.
no.
Sorry.
WWF wrestling, like the Royal Rumble.
yeah,
It was like
did
surely
Bam Bam Bigelow.
Mushy's just gonna horse him out, but Sammy Tuipulotu, he'd only arrived that day and he was like bleeding. And he's just like a little animal, just like foaming at the mouth. And we were all around in the circles. Everyone that was thrown out, we were all just around the circle, like fucking baying for blood. And Sammy managed to get Mushy out. I can't remember how, but
How did you do?
I think he's just biting him and stuff. I did well. I was kind of like,
You did all right.
I was like, do you remember in Gladiator where they're handcuffed to one another and one of the little shitty arse guys is handcuffed to the big monster guy and he chops his hand off. He was handcuffed to Paul O'Connell. He was just like, chop my hand off. I did terribly. We to talk about Wales this weekend, Millennium Stadium. Last game for Warren Gatland in the Millennium Stadium. Going to be pretty tough.
Ominous.
Yeah.
Pretty ominous.
Tough second run out for a lot of these players, but we'll expect. There's rumours in the camp that Sexton may have taken a knock
Yeah.
last week.
They say I heard a maul collapsed on his leg.
Yeah. Again, it's like leaving cert holiday when one of them ends up in hospital and no one knows what happened. It's like, it's very worrying.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity for Ireland. If Ireland can go and get a win there, and it gets everything back on track. So that's where it is.
Yeah, it'll be the fatigue that's in their legs potentially, like we're saying, that could potentially be a big excuse why they looked off the pace of the weekend. That's not going to dramatically change in a week, I wouldn't have thought. But I would have thought Ireland would be peaking the week after for that Wales home game. So I would imagine you'll probably see an improvement this week, or even just a little bit of like digging in, a bit of resilience, bit of hurt from last weekend's
Yeah,
result.
I think
and then a
mentally
backlash to that.
after that performance, the Irish players are going to come out, and there won't be another. There is no other option, you know. Like it.
Yeah.
That's the thing is that.
But it
they'll
could go the
out-
other way though. It could break their resolve altogether.
It won't. It won't.
What,
They're too.
Can you remember 2007? Like, there's a lot of talk about that and what happened.
Yeah.
But no one seems to be saying what exactly was it that went wrong. Like, when you think of, like, okay, we're losing players at the moment, that's fearful, and there's, but like, can you remember back as to what went wrong back then, and can you make any comparison?
It was 12 years ago, but it's just stuck to me. Like, we were just focusing on all the like quantifiable things, like lifting weights and how many fitness sessions you could get in, and just we didn't just do enough rugby, and we just got an eye opener then when we went out to play, and we were miles off the pace, and it was almost like a scramble then. I think because the Six Nations had gone so well, Ireland had performed so well, that I think Eddie had sort of an idea of what his starting team was going to be, and we were all in the Argentina tour, and it was like just pick the rest of the squad from that tour, and then when we came back, I just don't think we did enough rugby. I don't know what you thought, but
Yeah, I thought so. I think it was we just didn't have the ball in our hands enough. We weren't comfortable enough in our phase play, and
I didn't do
everything
enough
really.
contact. And then you play your first game, and you're like, oh shit, these guys are
Yeah.
like, it's so different. You know, when you're away from the game, we haven't played a game for 2 months, and then people are running at you and stuff, like, you're getting used to that. So I think the drop off was too much from when we played our last game to when we went and played the warm-up games, and we were miles off.
Okay.
And I think even if you consider that the majority of the starting team that Eddie would have had, I'd imagine, selected in his mind from the Six Nations, didn't even travel to Argentina. How long it was since they'd played international rugby.
Okay.
And then to just go into the
And then
warm-ups.
Draco got knocked out,
Yeah.
and that was us.
I still didn't. I still thought we'd pull it out of the bag. I thought we'd be good, and then every week it was just we were just getting shitter and shitter, and I just kept losing weight.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm getting weaker in the gym, and then we were on the pitch longer because we were panicking, and then
We were all worried because Fla's losing weight.
it was so grim. That was so
George.
grim.
When was the Georgia game? Was that early enough?
Was Georgia the first game or the second?
I think Namibia was first. I think it might have been.
Namibia, and then Georgia was the second game.
Yeah, I think because I played in the Namibia game and we got through grand. Georgia game, we genuinely could have lost that game, and that was like we've only got one more week here to get sorted. And at that stage, I was going, I think we're struggling. I think we're done.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
horrible.
Quickly, selection wise for the weekend, any additions you'd like, or even combinations you'd like to see? Centre, for example.
I'd like to see Chris Farrell.
Back five. You'd like to see Chris Farrell.
I'd like to see him get back in the mix. I just think we need. I know you get that from Bundy or from Ringrose as well, but I liked Farrell at 12. I know it was only Italy. It was the first friendly, but I just think you get a level of a nice balance from him in the midfield. If he gets the ball, even if he catches it high, he gets low, he gets dynamic, and he punches really hard. I think you just need to start getting gain lines from your midfield, and I think he will add something big there.
Yeah. Yourself?
There's a lot of lads there who probably need to play again to get that out of their system, but they may not get that opportunity because, like you said, Joe's going to have a look at the game. I think what's going to be important is actually deciding on who the second choice hooker is going to be, because Rory's obviously going to go out there as first choice. He's captain, so you'd like to see Rory playing well. You'd like to see the line out, everyone in the line out functioning better, and then to see Rory playing well, and then if they're going to persist if they're going to go with whoever they're going to go with a second choice, to see them get in there and see them perform well, whether it's going to be Niall Scannell. Rob Herring has been really unfortunate in terms of having the back spasm early in the Italy game and not really being able to get time, or else go with Shawnee Cronin and give
them a chance.
Yeah, give them a chance to work in a lineup that's actually functioning.
When we talk about players that you want on your side to give the other teams a bit of fear, like it's Chris Farrell, stick him in your team, and for me, Sean Cronin. I agree, Rory is our leader and our captain, is going to start, but bringing Sean Cronin off the bench, like as you've heard many other players in Europe saying, like when we see Sean Cronin coming on the field, we're like, oh fuck.
But if it's a case that the line that Rory or Shawnee, if that, like I don't put it all on the hookers at all. There was like every part of the lineup was poor, but they have to have someone to deliver for them. So because you've seen like when Ireland don't have good set piece ball, particularly from their lineup, that they struggle. So one of them has got to step up there, or else they've got to start backing Niall Scannell or Rob Herring and get them to step up. But I'm sure that they'll get it sorted. Just when you're talking about Farrell, as a 12 or a 13?
I think he's only played that one game at 12, and he struck me as someone who could really be. I think he could go really well. I think Will Addison's probably going to get some game time though. I don't know. He might get a 15. Might get some get that 15. But
So hairy, isn't it? The opportunities are so few and far between. Being injured, getting in like that. Like I put myself in Rob Herring's position, and I was like, he's always playing second fiddle to Rory and Ulster. He's actually a really good player. I think if he got some game time, but it looks like now like Niall is the only hooker who's played well for Ireland so far. So whether they're going to give Niall another go, or whether they're going to give one of the other three lads, obviously Rory's going to get another go to go forward, because that's going to be really important.
Yeah. Rob Herring, I suppose, is the one. You'd be able to, so if Rory's on one end of the scale and Sean Cronin's on the other, you've got kind of pragmatism test match, and you've got dynamic kind of threat or pace or whatever. I think Rob Herring is probably the one that brings those both together.
Yeah, himself and Niall are similar in that way, where they sit in between, but Niall has had more opportunities. So I think that Joe generally seems to go with lads who've delivered for him in the past, which that's why I felt it was harsh for Rob Herring with the back spasm. But look, such is life.
Yeah.
Okay, I hope he's good pubes as well. So let's hope we finish our Leaving Cert holiday well. We've got Wales on Saturday in the Millennium Stadium. Looking forward to that. But we're going to take a break now, and we'll be right back with our black and white, which Fla is going to adjudicate.
All right, lads, it's time to play black and white. Everyone knows a pint of Guinness is the perfect opportunity to bring friends together. But on this black and white, it could split the house in two. I have here a contentious statement. Trimby, you'll be arguing for it. Baz, you'll be arguing against.
Okay.
You've got 60 seconds. Have a look. And then we'll have your debate. It's going to be a big debate.
Okay.
Do you want to go first? Barry?
You can go with it.
Stop what you're going here.
Do you want me to
Okay,
go?
60 seconds on the clock.
What is it?
What's the contentious statement?
You just read it.
Irish rugby supporters are better than Irish football supporters. Sorry, hooligans.
60 seconds, Trimby. Take it away.
I'm for.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what with the contentious political backdrop in Ireland at the minute, with the potential of a hard border with Brexit, what better a sport than Ireland than rugby to bring Irish rugby supporters together, unite the country, but not just that. Do you know if you go to a rugby match and you sit beside someone? Sorry,
I agree.
they may well be the opposition, but you'll still sit beside them and you'll have a lovely little prawn sandwich. They don't do that in soccer, and I think it's a disgrace, and I think the whole sport should be banned.
So you're talking about the sport as opposed to the actual supporters?
The support?
No.
The sport spearheaded by the disgraceful supporters.
The supporters, man.
The support.
Italian 90.
Okay,
Italian 90.
Baz,
The
60
Pope.
seconds.
The Pope became a fan of Ireland in Italian 90. I think he was wearing those a little opal green jersey. He was on the bench with Jack Charlton.
Have him.
The Pope.
Have him.
Yeah, that's true.
You're welcome to him.
Who's better than the Pope? Yeah, like USA 94. Okay, there's two-pronged. Irish rugby supporters, like, how boring are they? Do you ever see that photo of the Leinster supporter with the brown
30
Thomas
seconds.
bag and the little scarf, and he's like got a little pint of Heineken, it's all like, yay!
That's my uncle.
That's your uncle. God,
great.
man, sorry. Whereas, like, soccer supporters, man, they're just the salt of the earth, like. Do you know, they're just...
What soccer supporters are you friends with? Friends with anyone who's a season ticket holder of...
I am. My barber,
10
Garrett,
seconds.
season ticket holder with Man United, legend.
Fair enough.
Okay. This is a pretty good one.
Yeah.
But I felt that your argument depended very, very heavily on the Pope. And I think
Papal reliance
Many popes.
issue.
too heavily reliant on the Pope. So look, for this one,
Pope and
I'm going
Barber.
to put this one up here, a little bit more armpit for Trimby.
Oh, the smell.
He didn't even talk about
The scent of
supporters.
victory.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Fucking Pope.
Too much Pope.
Thank you. Less pull. Right, thanks everybody for listening on all your favorite apps, and for those of you watching us on YouTube also, do not forget to rate and subscribe and leave a comment on any of your platforms that you're using, and we love to hear from you, of course, and Trimby is going to respond to all of those. Cheers to everyone that was involved in organising the show today. Paul, Fiona, Paul and Anthony, and of course Jerry for coming in and chatting to us. This has been Baz and Andrew's House of Rugby here on Joe, together with Guinness.
Party on.
Party on.